focus on what we're really doing.
Blah, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. Y si te quiere cambiar tu vida, if you want to change your life, then subscribe. Ching! And by the way, guys, I just published a book out on Amazon called Shabbat in Chicago. It's about an audacious single mom who opens her heart and home to 5 adopted kids while embracing her Latino culture while being Jewish. And today we have a very special guest. He is one of the biggest fighters for powerslap, the one and only Cesar. Woo!
What up? What up?
Hey. So look, brother, I'm so happy you're here. I'm honored. I just want to share, with the fans how we met. So basically, in Power Slap 12, Slap News had a party they hosted at Circa, for like the swim place where they have pools and everything. And I see my brother, right? My brother's tall. I'm not gonna lie, I was short. And I saw my brother, and right away, this is cool. This is how I broke the ice. I saw I knew you were Panamanian. He's like, "How'd you know, brother? Like that's crazy." I'm like, "Brother, I can sense it." You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The force is
Yeah, yeah.
and we hit it off real cool. I told him like, "Hey man, I do podcasting." You're like, "Oh, that's what's up, brother. Get my info." And it was so nice because we got to meet different people, and like it was a really nice time. They even gave out free shots from Dios Azules, the tequila spot, so that was pretty dope. That was my perspective that night. But what about you, brother? What can you remember coming to Vegas, meeting for the first time? If you could spill the beans, maybe not the cheese, but yeah, we'll appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah, man, we met at the event for Slap News, which was my first time being at an event like that because it was my first live event. I was on the show season 3 for Power Slap, so I mean, it's night and day compared to what that was versus what Power Slap 12 was because on the show, like we were like kind of isolated. We were in the house, like no phones, no TV, no radio, no nothing, pretty much. And it was a completely humbling experience because you kind of feel how attached to the your phone you are, and like how everything pretty much goes through your phone. Like your everything, all your information is is on your phone nowadays. So compared to Power Slap 12, I mean that event, doing the red carpet, meeting all you guys, meeting you, meeting the guys from Slap Sun, the guys from Slap News, like Beyond the Slap with Terry, like everybody was so cool and like and welcoming, and honestly it was a great experience, man. I've never experienced anything like that quite in my life. That's probably something that was on my bucket list of life things to do, which is experience a fight week and like events and things like that. And it was, I mean, second to none, really, man. I was having a great time out there.
Wow, that's amazing, brother. I appreciate that. And brother, can you share a little bit about the feeling of doing your live event, right? This was huge
Yeah,
for you, coming to Vegas. Can you share a little bit like that moment?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, when I got the call, like I stayed ready because in this game, you never really know when you're gonna get the call. I have to kind of watch my weight because if I eat how I want to eat and I lift how I want to lift, I get pretty big, and it'll be hard to come down to 205. So when I got the call, I mean, the first thing I did was, talk to my wife about it and say, hey, listen, are we diving in? Are we doing this? And she's like, let's do it. So, I have the support from all the right people, which is what's most important to me. And I mean, so going out there to Power Slap 12 versus the first time, I was able to share, send pictures, look where I'm at, look what I'm doing, the weight, the this and that, which is completely different from the first time, which I was kind of like like in a nut, like inside of a bubble, which I couldn't express myself. I couldn't really do much. So this experience was completely different, man, and it's it was like I said, something that I've always wanted to do because at the beginning of my young adult life, I wanted to be an MMA fighter, and like walking into a UFC building, into the Apex, into the Performance Institute, like looking around, seeing fighters walking, like it was a crazy humbling experience, man. It really, really was.
Wow, that's amazing, brother. And I heard that you went right after powerslap 12. You went to vacation to Panama.
Yeah,
I think it's been a
yeah.
while, right, since you've been back. Can you tell us, like, how was that experience? What did you do out there? Because that's a beautiful country, beautiful like food, the
Yeah.
people, and please, if you could share too what you guys
Yeah,
do.
for sure. So I flew. So my match was on Friday the 7th. I flew out Friday the 14th. So just the 1 week after. And the reason I flew out there was because it was my 1 year anniversary with my wife, and nothing better than to get to spend time together and enjoy some of that money that I made in Vegas. All right, so I got there. I got there on a Friday evening. We checked into a Airbnb, beautiful like ocean view. Man, it's amazing. I love being in Panama. Like I was born in Miami. I'm born and raised in Miami, but both of my parents are from Panama, so I've been going to Panama since I was 8 months old. They put me on a plane and I'll spend my whole summers there. My whole family is pretty much there. Like here, it's really only me, my mom, my sister, and our kids. Pretty much that's it. I have no aunts, no uncles, none of that. Everybody's in Panama, including my wife. So we got out there Saturday. We went out to a place called Toboga Island, which is, I mean, it's amazing. It looks like you're looking at a picture, like a postcard, pretty much. Like the beach, the water was clear. It was amazing. We had great weather. I couldn't ask for anything else, man. And Sunday, which was actually the 16th, our actual anniversary day, we woke up, we got to church early. Spent got there to receive the word and the love, and just to be appreciative that we could spend that day together. Because it's difficult. It's difficult. Long distance relationships are difficult. They're not for everybody.
Oh, brother. No, that's beautiful. I love that you
Yeah.
said that you went to hear the word, about God. I think that's so unique
Yeah.
because we get distracted, like you said, the phone, life, money,
Yeah.
fame, right? And we
Right.
forget what's the most important is your relationship with God and your family, your wife, right? That's a priority. I think that's
Amen.
you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I think that's deep. We gotta look out, man. If you could share, this is so cool that you just shared that. If you could share, do you remember what was that sermon about when you went to listen to the word that day?
Yeah. So the sermon that day was about the verse escapes me, but the message was that so it was in Spanish. Obviously, we were in Panama, so I remember the pastor saying "sacúdete," which is one of the, like, shake off that dust that we are, that everything that we are, and just try to focus on what we're really doing on this planet. By the short time that we're here, it's kind of like, and just a message, man, and just it was a little bit of a different type of sermon for me, because I come from a Catholic background and my wife is like more of a evangelical Christian background. But the word is the word. I mean, you come out and you hear it, and it talks to you, and just being able to um to sing and praise, and just, oh man, there's nothing like it, right? There's not like when I'm in church and just listening and to the word, and it's an amazing like experience that I hope that everybody at least once gets to experience, so you can know what it's all about, because there's nothing like it, man. There's nothing like it. And just being there, being able to be with my wife and listening and singing together and holding hands and praying together, it's second to none on this world, man. There's that, and that's the point, right? We live this life to try to get to the next one and live that eternal life, and just be able to do that without having all the worries that we have on this planet. So like that's the whole thing for me, man. And God is a big part of my life, part of our lives, me and my wife. It's we like to say that it's like a weave of three, right? Because it's us and God, and like He's leading the ship, and we're just following and listening to God's plan, and just following it, man. And it's the peace that you get from that, which is another big difference from Power Slap 3, the show, than Power Slap 12, man. I remember on the show I was so worried and so like nervous, and I was like, and I was scared. I mean, we're gonna go up there and smack each other as hard as we can, and it's a scary thing. But I was worried. Like I remember thinking, like, how do I get out of this? How do I get, like, even in the locker room, like that was what was on my mind. Like, how do I get out of like this? Like, do I fake that I'm sick? Do I, like, all that ran through your mind? And it's just, the enemy just putting that those thoughts in your mind, and you just got to discern those things. But versus Power Slap 12, man, I was so calm and I was so sure and I was so ready to go. Like, it was just night and day, man. And that's, I've always been had a religious background and always followed God, and it's always Jesus and it's always that. But the leap that I've taken, like, this year, I could say this calendar year, and just like pretty much since I've been married, it's night and day, man. Like, understanding what I'm reading and understanding and like what everything actually means, and understanding that I can't do anything by myself. Like, a lot of times our ego gets to us, and we're like, we have free will. I can control myself. I can do it. I can do this. I can do that. But unless you ask, for that help, like, it's so much easier when you have help. And I break myself down. I kneel. I say, God, please help me with whatever issues that I'm going through at the moment, and the peace that I have inside me, I can't explain it. You can only experience it by yourself, and hopefully, everybody gets a chance to experience that.
Wow, I love that, brother. I want to share with you something you're gonna love. So I shared this with Bono, and now every time I see him, he always says it because I gave this cool this cool thing about the word Bible and
Yeah.
God. So I got a little quiz for you. I think you're gonna like this.
Okay.
What does Bible mean? The acronym.
You're telling me right now that it's an acronym. I didn't even know it was it was an acronym. But I'm always open. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm always open to learn and history and what it means and things like that. And I promise you, you tell me today, I'll always remember that you taught me that, David. So like, I always remember that. So what does it mean?
Are you ready for this? Hold on to your seat, man. I'm about to take you to a
Ready.
roller coaster. Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Man. And that is what it is. And that is what it is. And I think we take that for granted. Like, we have it. It's there. The word is there. The book is there. It's hard because our minds are in our sinful nature, and the flesh always bringing us back to what we don't want to do, but we do. Like, the Bible verse about that, with Paul. And it's true, man. And everything you read, and it's timeless. You can read it, and like everything that's in there, all the information is like, you can apply it to today, and it was written 2,000 years ago. Like, it's that's mind blowing to me. And we have the manual, right? We have the manual, but sometimes we veer off from the manual, but it's always getting back to the word. And that's, me and my wife talk about that every day. We read. We're on the Bible app reading together every day. We have plans, and we start together, and we end them together, about marriage, about life, about everything, pretty much. And it's incredible how it just guides us. And we have the instructions, but it's like everything else. A lot of times we receive things. We receive a computer, we receive a chair, and we don't read the manual. We don't. We just kind of like try to put it together ourselves, and that's the mistake that a lot of us make. And I love that, brother. So I thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to be using that in the future.
I got you, bro. I got one more I have to share.
Sure,
So
sure.
we talk about how you were at the house of Power Slap and you didn't have your phone, right? How you
Right,
were saying we were so attached to technology, right? So this is gonna blow your mind, but if you look at the phone, the Apple, it's
right.
it's the forbidden apple. It's
This,
the
this I've
forbidden
heard.
fruit. The
This
forbidden
I've
fruit.
heard. Yeah, I've heard this one. This
You
one
heard
I've
that
heard.
one,
Yeah,
right? So
and it's like, wow, like
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't believe in coincidences. I'm not. I feel like everything is put forth for a reason, and I think that, yeah, it's there's a lot of good things about a phone, but there's a lot of bad shit about the phone that is just like, you know I definitely agree with that. When I read that one, I was like, wow, that's Makes a lot of sense.
Right. And look at this, like when my mom growing up with her, right, we will have like dinners on Friday nights to Saturday. We'll have our own Sabbath, Shabbat, and we wouldn't have our phones. And the purpose was is to live the moment, live the present, right?
Mhm.
And it's a beautiful thing because you're not distracted from reality. You get to spend time with quality time with family, your mom, right? And something I realize is that our phone and even money leads us to like a dark place. It could lead us to our ego going higher. Oh, I'm better than this person. Or look at my views, they're better than this person. And it makes us not be humble. And something I learned from my friend, he taught me this from AA meeting, is the word for ego. The acronym is edging God out.
Mm. Yep.
Because you ignoring him now. You're like, I don't need you no more. But really
Right.
you do, because he's always there. You know, he's always waiting for us, and we choose not to, right? But we have to, take ourselves back, like you said, shake it off, the
Take it off.
negativity, the evil inclination, and just follow God, and you will see that the door, the light will be open. You know what I'm saying?
100%, man. I'm 100% on that. Yep.
So I just wanted to share that, but brother, please, if you can also share too, like, how did you meet your wife? Like, tell us, like, the take us back to the early days and how,
Mhm.
like, she caught your eye and then you took her to the first date. Because I gotta admit, brother, you gotta, it takes a lot of courage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. So the way that I met my wife, I was on vacation. I went to Panama. I hadn't been to Panama in a while, not as often as I used to, like when I was a kid. And I actually went with two of my best friends. And we decided to have like a beach day, right? And in Panama, when you go to the beach, you have to leave really early because the city itself is 2 hours away from the beach. It's not. It's like, yeah, it's not like there's a bay, there's water there, but it's not like you could get in, and you have to kind of like drive away to the beach. And I remember that morning, like we went out late the night before, and that next morning we had to get up like at 6 or 5:30. And I'm an early riser. I wake up early. Like I 5 to 6 I'm awake, and I start my day at that time. But my friends are completely different. Like these guys are, like I had to like shake them. I had to shake them to like, hey, wake up. Are we going to the beach or not? So my phone's blowing up. My cousins and everybody's calling me. My cousin is going with his wife, and then other cousins, and then some friends of theirs, right? So we end up driving from the hotel back to my grandma's house at the time. My grandma was still alive at the time, and she had us breakfast there, and we're sitting down, we're eating breakfast, and everybody's like out there waiting for us. we're like sorry, because we got to get our breakfast in. But so we go to the beach. On the way to the beach, we stop and we pick up my cousin's wife's sister, which is now my wife.
Whoa.
So, and she wasn't. So if we hadn't gone at that time, she wouldn't have gone because she was already like on the fence. Oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to that. So she ended up going. We sat next to each other, and I was sitting in the middle. I had her on this side, and her cousin on the other side. And it was like a normal, like, you meet somebody, you talk, and we didn't even really talk that much. It wasn't like that day anything happened or anything like that. Um, we went to the beach. We had the whole beach day. On the way back, I had taken some pictures, and I asked her, "Oh, do you want me to send you the pictures on WhatsApp?" So I sent her the pictures, and that's kind of how we connected, and kind of we were friends from that day forward, pretty much. That was in March of 2019. Yes, a while ago, 2019. So no, fast forward November of 2019, me and my friends went back to Panama, and that's when we had our first date. I was like, hey, do you want to, grab dinner or anything like that? And she was like, yeah, sure. We had both kind of like been separate from our previous relationships at the time, so it was kind of like the right time, right, to do that. And so we went, and hit it off amazing. Like more like, and I tell her all the time, it was more like friends just having dinner, and like, and that was always kind of like our relationship. Like it wasn't. First off, and I'll be honest with you, because like I was, since it is my cousin's wife's sister, I didn't want to be like too much, like too forward or too, because I didn't want her to be like an embarrassing situation where she went back and told them like, oh, this guy's wild, and he said this is. So I was kind of a little bit more reserved that they may, and maybe that's what worked. I don't know. So then we had our first day. We went to a place called Strago, which is like an amazing Italian restaurant over there, and that's actually where we went to dinner this past week anniversary. We were like, let's go back there. We haven't been back since, so let's go and have dinner there. And it was just as good, and it was just as great, man. And we kind of just started talking from that time on, and then the pandemic happened, so like, a lot of time happened in between without being able to travel and being able. So we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of like rough roads and trying to get to this, and like I said, like relationships that are long distance are not easy because you doubt a lot because you're just like, oh, what am I doing? I'm not going to keep going all the time, and things like that. And it ended up, I mean, it's crazy when I look back at the pictures of the times I've gone and the things and it's like, wow, like all that time has happened and we're here now, and all I can do is thank God, man. I feel like he made this person for me, like she's my rib, like like Adam and Eve, like type thing. I tell her all the time. It's amazing how one person could just change your perspective of life, really, and just and love in general. Because before her, like I was in, like I said, I was in a long previous relationship with my son's mother, like a 10-year relationship, and it's not to say anything about that, but it was just different. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a different connection overall, and like understanding and communication. I wasn't the best communicator, like a lot of us men are who are raised in like this generation. Well, mine, I'm 35, so like I was born like and raised in a time where like you keep your feelings to yourself. Like men don't cry, men don't, like it's difficult when you get in a relationship because like they want you to be open, and we're kind of reserved about that because we're like I don't think that's the right thing to do. But like, man, now we talk about anything and everything, and it's just so much easier, and it's like it's amazing. And I would say before, like I don't know how many times am I gonna go to like last year I went to Panama 7 times. Like
Oh,
it's a lot. Yeah. So we're in the process of getting her over. We're about a year into the process, so hopefully soon, God willing, say a prayer for me, Yaakov, that that he approves that because he can do it all, and we can just start our lives actually together versus having this distance between us, which is, I feel like it's been good. It's for a reason, and it's made us strong. It's made this relationship strong because, man, like it's hard, bro. It's hard. Like when, let's say, you argue with somebody and they're not there, and like like it's so difficult to like gauge anything because like, and it's just in the distance, and like what they say, distance makes the heart grow fonder. It's very true, and it's very true. So we're both just waiting for the day where that green check appears and we're approved, and we just start our lives, man. Pretty much.
wow, brother, that's beautiful. I'll pray for you, brother, for sure.
I
I
appreciate
I know God is good. He'll definitely, help. And I think that, through all this, right, that you guys build a very strong family. And the time is coming, brother, where you're
yeah.
gonna be with your wife every day, waking up and man, I love it. And it's never our timing, it's always God's timing, right? We have to remember that. One of the famous commercials, you remember this because you and I were in the 30s. The
Yeah.
famous commercial that I remember, the people, they open their window and they say, "It's my money and I want it now." Do you remember that
Yeah,
commercial?
that's the called AG Wentworth.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
it.
need my
That's
money
it.
right now.
and,
Yeah.
and if you think about it, we that's how we act as humans. When we want something, we want it right now. But
Yeah.
for God's timing, time doesn't exist, and
Yeah.
it's when He feels like you're ready for the next
Mhm.
stage. And that's
Right.
what we always got to remember, that God, I'm going to leave it to you, because only you know what's right for me. Only you know when I'm ready. And I know the time is coming. And it's all about faith. It's all about having, trust in Him, and He's going to provide. I think it's a beautiful thing, brother, that you shared. Very deep stuff, very deep.
Yeah.
Well, look, brother, it looks like Zoom was about to kick us out, but I do want to say, it's an honor having you, brother. I'd love to have you back again. Anytime you come to Vegas, let me know. We definitely got to hang out. And I want to, let the fans know too. Guys, you can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, Spotify, the Outlet to Reality. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching! And I'm on Snapchat is Take One Pass It, and my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And brother, where can my fans find you?
So you guys could find me on Instagram. It's the Cesar G underscores. That's TheCasar G underscore.